What do you think of them?
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
That is so beautiful.
No.
They're ridiculous.
She never stops whining.
Meghan Markle Googled, is the race card an actual card?
I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers. Slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
Your voice is driving me crazy and I'm about to jump over there and put my fists down your throat.
I think the woke have been asleep.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
You're complaining about your hard life and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous.
I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
Well, if Meghan and Harry can quit their family, you can too.
Is Meghan Markle the Duchess of drama or just misunderstood?
Here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
I have full body chills right now.
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
No.
Did her tear-soaked podcast appearance help her image at all? The host Kern Lima gave me the creeps, by the way.
Dan, when you do interviews on your show, do you do the Kern Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her.
And let's unpack the internet's roast of her Time magazine's top 100 most influential women appearance, Prince Harry's BBC interview flop that had critics gagging, and the staffer whispers painting Meghan as more narcissist than saint. Her Spotify deal got axed, her Netflix show tanked, and she's about to get kicked out of the royal family. So she might want to stop signing gifts as Her Royal Highness.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
You dropped off this gift basket with ice creams, homemade strawberry sauce to put on top of the ice cream.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
Why even in private? She's using that full title, Her Royal Highness.
I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
Meghan Markle's newest podcast appearance was pitched as pure authenticity. No makeup, no script, just the Duchess of Sussex sharing her heart. But unfortunately, the whole thing seems staged.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim, when there's nothing to be a victim about, and there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
Katy Perry saying she's an astronaut was more real than Meghan Markle being herself. The podcast host Jamie is Meghan's friend, but just kissed her ass the whole time, so not sure what we actually learned about her royal fakeness.
Work so hard. The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that, and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line and what's the cadence of it. And
in this interview, she really goes on these tangents of talking about how stressful her day is. And when I was listening to it, I was thinking, no, that sounds like a normal day to me, Meghan.
Critics weren't convinced, seeing it as a calculated move to boost her as ever lifestyle brand. She sold out all her products in 30 minutes when it went live, but that's just to trick you because there wasn't that much product to begin with, but it makes her look good.
She's trying to sell herself as this wholesome mother who's baking cookies and making tea for the rest of the family.
She is doing a cooking show on Netflix. I only watched 5 seconds of it and I thought she was going to cut her wrist by trying to zest a lemon. This girl has never been in the kitchen in her life.
So when she's trying to sell these kind of, I'm sorry, but crappy cheap tats to middle America, she needs to have this relatability, and she doesn't have that at all.
While some people online are complaining they still haven't got their order and it's been almost a month, her trademark filings for yoga mats and pet bowls didn't help, with ex-users labeling it a desperate brand grab. I've never seen a podcast where you just talk about how successful you are and how great everything about your life is. Is she bearing her soul, or is this just another act in the Meghan show?
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Meghan discussed as ever in Motherhood, sharing that she writes nightly emails to her 2 kids every night. If you can even believe that, I mean, sounds like something a perfect mother would say, I guess.
Can you imagine being Archie or Lilibet and opening this inbox of 6,000 emails when you turn 18? No one wants that, not the children. And also it sets this really unrealistic expectation, which Meghan is so good at doing for other parents.
If I don't have meetings in the morning, then then I try to do school drop-off. They're at 2 different schools. So from 6:30 in the morning on drop-off mornings for me, I'm not home till 9.
Her life is so hard because she has to do school drop-offs, and thank God that she's got a live-in nanny basically raising these 2 children.
The episode drew millions of streams, with clips flooding TikTok and Instagram. Host Jamie Kern Lima called it raw, but skeptics disagreed. It's strange because Jamie made it a point to let us all know that Meghan didn't get to see any of the questions for this podcast.
You haven't seen any of the questions ahead of time, and we're in our sweats, and you look the exact same with no makeup as makeup, and we're
that's very generous.
Like, why even make it a point to tell us that? Are you trying to convince the audience or yourself?
She's allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout. Like, she's completely camera ready. And she also is pretending that she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
During promotion for Suits, she was joking with one of the photographers that she can cry on command. Left eye, go. And then you watch a tear fall down her face, and then she starts cackling because she's so proud of herself.
She has this really famous thing where she says 1 tap left eye and she can make herself cry on demand.
Either way, we still didn't believe you. The Daily Mail's Alexander Larman dismissed her tears as a transparent bid to stay relevant. X-users flagged her polished delivery as rehearsed, with one joking, even her tears have a PR team.
It's just another lie from Meghan where she's told us one thing about this wholesome family life that she's got, but really it's staff behind the scenes that are upholding this entire image for this woman.
Markle reported critics found her anecdotes overly self-focused, always tying back to her brand or struggles. The Express cited royal insiders saying her emotional pivot won't repair her image.
They kind of up their whole thing, went way too hard on we're victims, and they assessed the mood of their generation and America correctly in that we are lovers of victimhood.
Yeah.
But America did finally find a way to say, you know what, we love victims, but you two, we've just had a little too much of it.
I mean, tone deaf could be Meghan Markle's middle name.
Meghan's conversation at the Time 100 Summit drew sharp criticism. I can't decide who's more fake at these interviews, Blake Lively or Meghan Markle.
She didn't make the Times list of cool people, but she did get invited there because her agency probably bought her access. This is one of the goofiest things ever.
Because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving.
What in the hell word salad is this?
Tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. Level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate.
I'm elevating it by putting dried flower petals on all of my food.
Her Time Summit speech, despite not making the 2025 list, fueled more backlash. X-users called her inclusion absurd, pointing to her business flopping. She sells jam, honey, and cupcake sprinkles, not exactly a world-changing accomplishment. Who does she think she is? Gayle King? Now that's a real woman who made a difference. She went to space. GB News quoted critics labeling her a self-promoter leaning on royal ties. And with her influence questioned, Time's nod feels more like a head scratcher than a crown.
She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
I mean, Meghan did claim that before dating Harry, she never Googled him, and she said she didn't know much about the royal family.
It was planned from the beginning. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Before they met?
Yes.
Prince Harry's recent BBC interview, where he criticized King Charles for not addressing his security concerns amid a lost court appeal, stirred heavy criticism.
He lost at the trial court level on this push to make the British royal family pay for his security when he goes to the UK.
Once they realise that myself, my wife, and our kids are happier outside of the institution, please just look at the fact. Look at the risks, look at the threat, look at the impact that if anything was to happen to me, my wife, or my father's grandchildren, look where the responsibility lies.
What a manipulation. My father's grandchildren. They're gonna and it will be his fault.
It's gaslighting on a grand scale. But
the Daily Mail's Sarah Vine called his somber tone self-pitying, accusing him of exploiting Charles's cancer diagnosis. ITV News reported Palace insiders slamming his comments as poor taste, while the Mirror noted Charles's distrust, fearing private talks become TV specials. Ex-users were harsh, branding him entitled, with one calling it a royal pity party.
But as soon as Meghan Markle made it absolutely clear that it was all about the moolah, it was all about the big bucks, it was all about trading off the royal name, but she was lining up these deals when she was still the Duchess of Sussex. She was in talks with Disney, she was in talks with the publishing companies, in talks with Netflix. At that point, the late Queen Elizabeth II, quite rightly in my opinion, said, no, there is no half in, half out. So you go with our blessing, but you lose everything.
The broader sentiment paints Harry's interview as an exaggerated grievance, deepening the royal rift. Not to mention all the talk of how Meghan hates the royal family and caused the rift between everyone.
But I have zero sympathy for him. The fact that he is putting his father through this in the final years of his life. And Meghan, there are members of the royal family who believe that Harry's behavior hastened the death of the late Queen Elizabeth II.
I believe that too. That's what I say. I say those two killed the Queen.
Megyn Kelly labeled Meghan a malignant narcissist. The Telegraph's Celia Walden called her podcast a self-focused therapy session, and Page Six reported brands like Goop rejecting her lifestyle guru pitch as too polarizing. But when Meghan's every tear seems to sell her brand, critics argue it's less vulnerability, more performance, and not a convincing one.
And this podcast with Jamie Kern Lima was absolutely car crash. I mean, Jamie Kern Lima is actually a very successful woman, self-made billionaire. However, she is a fame whore because, she first found fame
yes.
by appearing on the first series of Big Brother. She believes that she's the new Oprah Winfrey. And
Yes.
the problem is, you realize these are the types of people Meghan Markle is surrounding herself with. And none of them are prepared to ever give her a dose of reality.
Podcast host Jamie Kern Lima drew flack for her enthusiastic delivery. It felt super forced and fake praise.
Usually when we're together, we're in our cozy sweats and no makeup. So that's how we are today. No one's picked up my book proposal yet.
Yes.
I haven't found my soulmate yet. Everything is yet.
The power of yet.
The power of yet. Yet. Yet.
YouTube's The Royal Rogue criticized her high-pitched tone as overdone, suggesting she echoed Meghan's emotions like a hired cheerleader.
But I'm happy. I'm happy. And the kids are healthy and H is great. But I'm trying to also enjoy these big wins right now.
Yes.
Enjoy them.
She definitely agreed with everything Meghan said like a true yes man. The Independent's Roisin Lanigan said Lima's gushing made the episode feel like an infomercial.
Both of them did come across like they haven't actually, been in touch with maybe someone who's worried about the price of eggs.
Jamie Kern Lima, who seems to be even more fake and insufferable than the Duchess.
Very first question, because I think in friendship it's so important. And I think so many people also have this question for you is, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind.
Yes, it really is that awful. I may have blacked out from smacking myself in the head.
Ex-users noted, it's less a conversation, more a Meghan hype session. The host sold her company for $1 billion, so she's not some random lady off the street. She knows about building a company way more than Meghan does, but I didn't get anything from listening to her tell me how great Meghan is for an hour straight.
Don't forget, she's a princess too, and Harry is slaying dragons to rescue her.
Look what we've built. We've built a beautiful life and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. And I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers when you get to the final level. And what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
Who's Harry rescuing her from? The family she abandoned before making him abandon his?
Meghan's podcast tears and Harry's BBC outburst sparked the same debate. Are they sharing truth or staging drama? From Time's questionable influential nod to staffer tales of Meghan's temper.
Meghan has always said that, she's got lots of staff around her, and we've heard lots of complaints from lots of people that have worked for Meghan. So
critics see a narcissistic duo exaggerating struggles for sympathy, while supporters call them misunderstood. The internet leans hard into doubt, questioning if the Duchess of Drama and her prince are more about brand than authenticity. The truth, who knows? I'm just some dude reading about people who are way richer than me. I'll see you tomorrow for another video.